Hey guys, Scott here again. Another segment of my beer dissection videos, and then definitely an offshoot of my Beers for Cheers evaluation. Remember, that's the Sam Adams 12-pack. I mean, you get in a case also, but the 12-pack I had picked up that have roughly 2 beers per style. I've been trying to do a lot of these styles, especially the ones that are more holiday-based, because we are, as I'm recording this, in December. So some of you may be inquiring about, what's in the box and, what the beer is like. And with that said, with these videos, I'm trying more to assess the beer, evaluate the beer, tell you what I'm perceiving, what I'm smelling, what I'm tasting, more than actually like grading the beer or bashing the beer. Not to say I won't have a grading system in the future. Some people find it fun. I think on 1 or 2 videos I've used like the Untapped 5-point system, and I may go to that, but I think on some videos I won't even grade it, because I'm actually more focused on trying just to evaluate and tell you what I'm perceiving, and you can make your decision if it's something that you would like. And I also don't want to bias you either way. So the beer we're doing today, which I haven't done yet, is Sam Adams Winter Lager. Okay, the labels change. I remember this beer being around, at least 10, if not 20 years ago. I think the label was blue. So this beer has been around for quite a bit. So if you've had it, or it does look familiar, it sounds familiar, there is probably a point in time you did have it. As I've said in other video, Sam Adams, along with Pete's Wicked Ale in the early 90s, was kind of my gateway beer to try to get introduced into craft beers. So a lot of these holiday beers are not, my kind of go-to beer. I'm not really big into spice beers or fruited beers, unless it's like a fruited lambic. But I still feel they have their place. I think all beer has its place. And even I've said it on some posts, maybe not on my Facebook thread or YouTube thread, but even, bad beer is better than no beer at all. So as long as it's, drinkable, you can enjoy it with something. I'm not going to, push it away unless it's, stale or oxidized or things like that. So what this winter lager is, it's off of Sam Adams' site, they call it a spiced wheat Bock beer. Okay. And the spices, let me just talk about the spices right now. They're using ginger, orange, and cinnamon, which is pretty common. You think of your, Christmas cookie spices, and some of the other beers I've reviewed, even on this page, uses those spices. Now, the thing interesting about Bock, Bock in German means goat. And if you may be familiar with German Bock beers or Doppelbock beers, I'm probably going to be doing a thing on there. A lot of those, you'll see a goat actually on the label. And where that name comes from, briefly, the history goes pretty deep, is in the town of Einbeck in northern Germany, where Bock beer kind of originated from. I guess there was an accent or whatever. They were saying Einbach, and then they just called it Bock beer. Fast forward, then the St. Paula monks, went down to Bavaria, and they had the Salvatore beer, and a lot of your Bock beers or Doppelbock beers, you'll see the "ader" suffix to it. So I'll talk more about Doppelbock and Bock, but that's where the term Bock comes from. Now in Germany, again, our U.S. brewers don't have to abide by German, purity standards or German beer law, but a Bock beer is technically between 6 and 7% alcohol. They really go by original gravity of the beer that has to be. I think it's 1.064 if you're a home brewer, and Doppelbock has to be about over 7% alcohol, and it's like 1.073. Don't mark my mark my word on that, but those are the general guidelines to be called a Bock or Doppelbock. So why I'm bringing this up is that this beer is at 5.6 again. So no one's going to throw anyone from Sam Adams into jail for not abiding by the Bock, but they call it a spiced wheat Bock. So I would have thought it would probably be a little bit higher in alcohol percentage. It has about 22 IBUs. Again, you've heard me throw the IBU units, even though I feel perceived sweetness and bitterness is more important than the actual IBU number. And remember, that's the balance between the bitterness and the sweetness when you're drinking. But 22 is still pretty, it's like a medium range. Like I've thrown out there, if you've had Munich Helles, that's about 22. If you've had German Pilsner, that's about 35. American IPAs, I think 40 to 70 IBUs. So just to give you some comparative speaking notes there. This is a lager. Bocks are lagers, so that's bottom fermenting yeast. They're usually brewed at cooler temperatures, okay? If there's interest, I may do a whole video on that, about lagers and ales and home brewing and things like that. They use 2-row malt, caramel, some malt, I think it's 660L, which is Lovibond. If you ever see it like on your, if you go on the website, you'll see like 60L or Crystal 60 or 40. The higher the number, the darker the malt, the more caramel flavors you'll get from the grain. So they use 60L. They use some malted wheat, hence it's a wheat box. I'm glad there's some wheat in there. Obviously, like I said, lager yeast, Carafa malt, which is like a dark, create some darker colors, and Munich malt, which is very commonly used in Germany. Gabriel Sedlmayr is the one who developed Munich malt. And Munich malt gives it more of a, and I think Sam Adams uses Munich malt in their Boston Lager too, I believe. And it gives a little bit more of a caramel, bready, brioche kind of taste to the beer. More slightly, I don't even want to say roasted. It's not like roasted or espresso, but more caramel, toffee, nutty, bread crust, breadcrumb type of thing, the Munich malt versus like a 2-row malt. They use the Hallertau Mittelfrüh hop, which is a noble hop. If you've had a lot of German Pilsners, it's a common noble hop. Over there, Spalt and Spalzer hop for the bitterness. And again, so I'm expecting I'm going to get some of the noble hop aromas when I smell this. And that's pretty much it for the background on the beer. So let's pour this beer. Okay, so again, as always, I try to bring this up. I got my familiar tulip shape cup there. Okay, so yeah, as I'm even pouring it, I can see the nice deep amber color, and I'll get it up there for you in a second. Oh, all right. So what do we got here? So you take a nice look. This almost looks like the Boston Lager. And I did a video on, I think it's the Fezziwig, which I haven't published yet. But so, I didn't pour it really aggressively, but there's even just for a light pour, there's not a bad head, nice beige head. It might look white on camera. Nice dark amber color. Okay, pretty clear. Clarity is very good. So let me just take a whiff of this. Okay, yeah. So, I'm definitely getting that German noble hop smell. I'm not getting really any of that orange or cinnamon here, or ginger. So I'm definitely getting that. I brewed with the Hallertau, the Mittelfrüh hop before, and Spalt for some of my German clone beers. So, and clone is like kind of mimic a beer. So when I use clone, think of like Clone Wars. So I'm getting that. Again, like that challah bread, crusty, light caramel, not caramel like a English, like wee heavy or Scotch ale. Okay, but just enough, crusty graham cracker, light toast. So let's take a sip. Again, similar to the aroma, you get, and as I'm getting the aftertaste, a little bit more light toffee, nut, bread crust type of thing. I'm not really getting much of, I don't get any orange. If I definitely know ginger and, maybe a touch of cinnamon. So if you're looking for that, this beer kind of underperforms. At least in my opinion on it. I mean, it has nice carbonation. I mean, this is something I would drink. I mean, it's a nice sparkling carbonation, refreshing. You know, it almost drinks more like you know, a Scottish ale in a sense. You know, like a Scottish light ale or something. It's a little bit more carbonated than the average. You know, because there's some wheat in there, I mean, I get a little bit of the wheat. I may be interpreting some of the breadiness and the crust. There's some wheat malt in there, but you know, the Munich malt, without a doubt, that's what's kind of giving it that color. And that's what if you have a lot of German beers like Dunkel's in the Doppelbocks, they're using the Munich malt a lot. Yeah. So and there's that little caramel, that bread crust. You know, I get a little bit of that, you know, floral herbal thing from the hops on the palate. Kind of medium bodied. Really no alcohol warmth that you can speak of, especially at, what did I say, 5.6% alcohol. But it definitely underperforms on your spices. So if you really enjoy that, like you're someone that, again, I try to draw a connection to what people like to drink. I mean, if you're in the Halloween time and you're having your Oktoberfest beers, and not just at Halloween, when I said Oktoberfest, I meant pumpkin beers, you know, with the pumpkin spices. You like to be hit with those hard. This is not going to give it to you. But you know, kind of almost drinks like a Märzen German style beer. You know, an amber lager beer, like a Boston Brewing Company type of beer. It almost tastes more like that. It's cleaner than that. It actually has quite a clean, kind of a clean, more easy drinking, typical lager beer than actually like a spiced beer. So if you're looking for that spice, you're not going to get it here. It actually, I think, underperforms in that way. But again, it's still enjoyable. You know, if someone handed this to me, I wouldn't like stick my nose up at it. It's just one of those beers that, you know, when you're looking for that, or you're going to buy this 12 pack and you're looking at some of these other ones, I think the white ale actually had more Christmas spices and ginger and orange than this one does. This one's a little more dominant with the malt profile. And again, with the lower IBU units, you're not getting hit with the hops too much, but just enough bitterness to balance it out. So again, maybe for fun, I'll give it a grade today, but for overall drinkability, you know, I would give it a good B, a solid B. For a winter lager that's advertised as having spice to it, you know, probably like a C minus on the hops. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that grading system going, but chime in if you like it. But I can do different things with it. So again, Sam Adams Winter Lager. If you have it in your pack, your 12 pack or your case, you know, definitely don't give it to the neighbors. I mean, it is it is a good beer. It is, but it's not going to blow you away with too much spicing, and it's just kind of average in that sense. All right, guys. So till next time, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.